What a delight it is for me to be talking to Professor Linus Pauling. He was included, along with Albert Einstein and Isaac Newton, in the new scientist list of the 20 greatest scientists who ever lived. He's been described as one of the two greatest scientists of the 20th century, the other being Einstein. He's the founder of molecular biology and molecular medicine. He's published over 1,000 papers and books, mainly on scientific subjects. His book, The Nature of the Chemical Bond, is considered to be the most influential scientific book of the 20th century. He's received honorary doctorates from 48 universities, including Oxford and Cambridge. That's 48 more than me. And when we take our vitamin C in the morning, we think of Linus Pauling, because he, more than any other person, has extolled the virtues of vitamin C, and that it's not only good for fighting the common cold, but cancer as well. He has said that if he doesn't achieve his goal of living to be 100, the reason will be that he started taking megadoses of the vitamin only 27 years ago. Dr. Pauling, thank you so much for being with us.
Well, I'm pleased to be with you.
You know, George Burns has signed a contract with Caesar's Palace to be there for his 100th birthday. Maybe you can work something out with one of the other casinos in Las Vegas.
Well, I've already agreed to come to a party on my 95th birthday.
All right. Well, you have authored the book Cancer and Vitamin C with Ewan Cameron. This is the updated and expanded version. Let's briefly talk about cancer and the causes of it. What causes cancer?
Well, cancer is a result of cells in the body getting out from under control. And there are many different causes of cancer, different kinds of cancer, so that there's no short and simple answer to that question.
You write in the book, in the United States, about 1.9 million people will die this year. About 20% of the deaths, 395,000, will be from cancer. Every day, about 2,100 people in this country develop cancer, and about 1,080 die of cancer. If the incident and mortality continue at their present rates, one adult in the United States in every 3 will develop cancer at some time in his life, and 1 in 5 will die of the disease. Let's talk about the treatments. First, chemotherapy. How effective is chemotherapy?
Well, chemotherapy is quite effective for certain kinds of cancer. And of course, Dr. Cameron and I have always said that we recommend high doses of vitamin C and also other nutrients as an adjunct to appropriate conventional therapy. If there is an appropriate conventional treatment which is known to control a particular sort of cancer, then the thing to do is to have that treatment, but also to take vitamin C.
How much vitamin C?
Well, Dr. Cameron, when he studied 100 patients with advanced cancer and compared them with 1,000 matched controls, gave 10 grams a day to the patients by mouth. He also gave them intravenous vitamin C so long as they were in the hospital, which is usually for 2 weeks after the cancer had been found to be approaching the terminal stage. So 10 grams a day I recommend for cancer patients, or even more. Some cancer patients have taken 30 or 40 grams a day by mouth with benefit to them.
Do you think, or do you know of anybody who's been healed just from the taking of vitamin C?
Who have been healed?
Yes.
Well, I think the National Cancer Institute and the American Cancer Society say that if a person who has advanced cancer is still alive after 5 years of treatment, he or she has been healed. And many of Dr. Cameron's patients were still alive 5 years after they were diagnosed as having terminal cancer. And the controls would die in about 6 months. Half of them be dead in 6 months after that diagnosis. But half of Dr. Cameron's patients were still alive after 5 years and still taking their vitamin C. You know, the Mayo Clinic doctors published a paper saying they were repeating Cameron's work and that they found that it wasn't effective. The vitamin C wasn't effective. The trouble with the Mayo Clinic doctors was that they didn't follow Dr. Cameron's protocol. They gave vitamin C 10 grams a day to 50 cancer patients with advanced cancer, terminal cancer, for 2 months and a half. And then they stopped it. The patients didn't die during this 2 months and a half, but they then began dying off rapidly after the vitamin C was stopped. So, although many doctors say the Mayo Clinic physicians showed that vitamin C has no value against cancer, this just isn't true.
Does it bother you when you hear these things? I mean, you have had to really fight hard for recognition and respect, especially from some of these doctors who don't believe in the benefits of nutrition and vitamins. Does it bother you?
Well, I've had a lot of experience with people not believing what I said, and usually it turned out that what I said was right. And in the case of vitamin C and cancer, it's interesting that scientists say, well, this has been reported to me over and over. A scientist will say, well, he's been right so often in the past that he's probably right about this too. But doctors don't have so much information about what I've been doing, or of course, ordinary doctors are too busy to follow the scientific and medical literature. Their job is to take care of their patients, and they rely on the medical authorities. The medical authorities are the ones that I criticize as not having worked hard enough, not having kept up with the times, being ignorant about what is now known about vitamin C and cancer.
Now, there are the cynics out there who say the reason they don't know more about nutrition is they don't want to know. If people were well, they wouldn't be getting the business they're getting.
Well, I know many commentators have said that the profit motive, the financial part of medicine, is what's responsible for the doctors ignoring vitamins. Vitamins are so cheap that nobody can make very much out of recommending vitamins to cancer patients.
On the phone with Professor Linus Pauling. He's written a book with Ewan Cameron, Dr. Ewan Cameron, entitled Cancer and Vitamin C. The updated and expanded version is now out, published by Camino Books. We'll continue with more of Dr. Pauling in just a moment. On the phone with Professor Linus Pauling. Dr. Pauling has received more Nobel Prizes than any other person in history. He has authored the book along with Dr. Ewan Cameron entitled Cancer and Vitamin C. Speaking of cancer, you yourself discovered a year ago or so that you have cancer of the prostate gland. Why do you suppose that is? You've been taking vitamin C all these years.
Well, many men get cancer of the prostate when they're 50 years old or 40 years old or 60 or 70 years old. I was 90 years old when it was discovered that my prostate was enlarged and had become that there was a malignant growth. So I would say that my taking vitamin C and other vitamins probably protected me for some 20 years, say.
When people go into the store, is it necessary that they buy natural vitamin C, or can they buy the synthetic stuff?
Well, the synthetic stuff is what chemists call natural vitamin C anyway, natural ascorbic acid. And practically all the vitamin C on the market comes from the same place, Hoffman LaRoche with its big vitamin C factories, and Tanaka Corporation with its big vitamin C factories. There's practically no vitamin C on the market except that comes from these sources. So if it says on the bottle, our products are all natural or natural ascorbic acid, this doesn't mean that their vitamin C is different from what other retailers are selling.
So you just take the cheap generic kind. It's anyway.
Yeah, and of course my recommendation is to check on what you are getting for your money and buy the cheapest.
Mm-hmm. What kind of vitamin pill do you take? You're going to be 94 in March. I think people would be curious to know what you take in addition to vitamin C every day.
Yes. Well, I take large amounts of nearly all the vitamins, 18 grams of vitamin C a day, which is 300 times RDA. RDA is 60 milligrams.
Now, do you take it all in the morning, all at once?
I do, usually for convenience, not wanting to have to bother about it later in the day. So I also take 800 units of vitamin E, and I recommend that, especially to older people, and 30 units of beta-carotene, which is a precursor of vitamin A, and I'm taking now 1,500 milligrams of niacin, vitamin B3, and good amounts of the other B vitamins, a super B tablet, which has 25 times the RDA of various B vitamins.
Now, are these all individual pills, or do you take this in one pill, or?
Well, the super B tablet contains all of the B vitamins, and then other than that, I take separate vitamins. I don't try to find a pill that has just, my 18 grams of vitamin C, I don't want to have to swallow 18 1-gram tablets. Yeah. So it's in the form of pure ascorbic acid, or in my case, I take the half and half mixture of ascorbic acid and sodium ascorbate, just dissolve it in water.
What do you think of some of these herbs out on the market, like Excel? Have you ever heard of Excel?
What is it?
Excel? It's an herb. It gets you going in the morning.
How's it spelled?
EXCELL.
Oh, I don't remember having heard about it.
How about Uptime? You can usually get that at 7-Eleven. Just curious to know what your thoughts were on that.
What's that?
Uptime. It's called Uptime.
Oh, I don't know about it.
All right. Is there any one? Is there any one specific daily vitamin pill, multiple vitamin pill that you recommend?
Well, I've already said that I recommend buying the cheapest.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
To see how much you're paying. A 1-gram tablet perhaps ought to cost about 3 cents. And if you are paying 15 cents, that's 5 times the market price. 15 cents per gram.
Regardless of how it's packaged. The FDA recently has been trying to strictly control how much people can take of vitamins. I'm sure you have some thoughts on that. Do you think they'll ultimately be successful?
Well, I don't think that Congress will let the FDA get away with that. 17 years ago, the FDA made a similar effort to change vitamin C and other vitamins into prescription drugs. And I went back to Washington and testified before the Committee on Health, Ted Kennedy's committee in the Senate. And the Congress passed a bill to prevent the FDA from just making them into prescription drugs. But now the FDA is trying to make an end run and achieve the same result in a different way. And so they need to be stopped. It would be a real calamity if the FDA were to get away with this.
On the phone with Professor Linus Pauling, the author of Cancer and Vitamin C. He's authored the book along with Ewan Cameron. It's an updated and expanded version published by Camino Books. Let me ask you another question in a kind of different area. Why do you think science doesn't know any more about the afterlife than it does, Dr. Pauling?
Doesn't know more about what?
The afterlife, life after death.
Well, I suppose that scientists haven't thought of any way of checking the idea experimentally.
What are your thoughts on it? Do you think there is life after death?
No, I don't.
You don't?
I think you just die.
You die and that's it?
That's it, yeah.
What do you think of the words of Jesus? I mean, he talked about heaven and hell. And he said unless a person is born again, he can't enter the kingdom of God. What are your thoughts on Jesus?
Oh, I think he was a great man.
He just didn't tell the truth.
Yes. What's that?
He just didn't tell the truth?
Who?
Jesus.
No, I don't know that I agree. I think his teachings of Jesus Christ.
Yes.
I think his teachings were marvelous. He was a great thinker and a great humanitarian, and of course has had a tremendous effect on the world for 2,000 years, nearly 2,000 years.
But you don't think what he said was true?
Well, in general, yes.
Well, he talked about an afterlife. He talked about a heaven, a literal place called heaven, a literal place called hell.
Well, you know what Bertrand Russell said about hell? The definition of hell: it's a place where the policemen are Germans, the drivers of automobiles are French, and the cooks are British.
Do you think he believes differently now?
No.
Oh, okay. Have you had people talk to you about the importance of being born again over the years?
Oh, I get letters from people trying to convert me to one or another religion.
Have you ever read C.S. Lewis's Mere Christianity?
No.
If I sent it to you, would you read it?
Yes, surely.
Okay. Hey, I'm sure a lot of the Linus Pauling fans out there would like to know how they could get a hold of you. Do you have an address where they could write you?
Well, yes.
Should they write you in care of our station and we'll just forward it on to you?
Surely that would be all right.
We could do that. Dr. Pauling has, as I said a few moments ago, has authored the book Cancer and Vitamin C with Dr. Ewan Cameron. The Associated Press says Linus Pauling was right. This publication explains in plain language the nature and known causes of cancer, covering nearly all its different forms and their natural progression. Cancer and Vitamin C also weighs the value and limitations of various modes of treatment, including chemotherapy, radiation, as well as a number of unorthodox treatments. And you'll be helped by picking up the book. Actually, the Associated Press quote was just, Linus Pauling was right. And you'll need to read the book for yourself. Dr. Pauling, you've been an excellent guest. I want to thank you for being with us.
Oh, it's a pleasure for me. Thank you.